Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unlock Show. I'm your host today. I am Tracy Wilson, and it is always my pleasure to be on the show with you guys. It is Friday morning here in Australia, a little bit gloomy day today, but nonetheless, we've got a pretty cool topic to talk about, and it really was stimulated by I actually watched the news last night, which is something that I don't typically do. I try to steer clear of kind of a lot of the mainstream media because often it is just very negative. But last night, our Prime Minister was on TV, as he normally is, but he was talking about kind of the current climate and, when will it be time for us to sort of open up our borders and allow travel to continue to happen, et cetera, et cetera. And it really made me start thinking about various different things in the way in which I've been doing business over the last couple of years, which has involved a lot of travel and getting around, around the world and really meeting lots of different people in lots of different locations. And one thing I did a couple of years ago, which was around this high ticket program arena, is what I want to share with you today. And it sort of made me think about, that's right, I did do that. There was this really awesome high ticket adventure that I did with a client of mine, and it has created a bit of conversation for me to talk to you guys about today. So what I'm just, if you guys are joining for the first time, let me just tell you how this sort of rundown of the show. So these are always live. I've got a bunch of people that are joining us this morning. I can see your guys' comments. So hello to Vicky, Donald, Robin, Few, and Gian. I know they're hanging around here too. So welcome. If you're inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life, you'll be able to see these shows live as they are streamed. So this right now is absolutely live. We also have the show available as a podcast. So if you want to get your hands on the podcast and you'd rather listen rather than actually watching, or you want to see this after the show, so you want to watch the replays, you watch the replay inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life, or you can head on over to Stitcher or iTunes and pick up the podcast. Unlocked with Tracy Wilson is where you will find it as a podcast. So go there and download it. And if you like the stuff that I'm sharing, tell your friends about it and let them download it too. So let's get stuck into this. One of the questions that I've been, that I've had a lot lately is the high ticket game still doable? Are people still prepared to pay money to spend on a program or a service or a product where they are paying, significant amounts of money for that? And let's firstly talk typically about what a high ticket, item or program would be, just so we get a bit of, I suppose, a bit of relativity here, so we know, what we're considering as high ticket. So generally speaking, anything that's over $1,000 would be considered in the high ticket space. So if you are a coach or a consultant and you've got a program that is, it would cost your audience more than $1,000, then you would be playing in that high ticket space. And again, anything that's sort of over that $1,000, typically anything that I do that's in the high ticket space would be $5,000 all the way up to, I've charged $140,000 for some of the products and services that I have done in the past. So, I'm coming at this from a place of experience. I've done this many, many times. And a lot of people would say that I'm the business coach, the master who, is able to put together really high ticket offers and then be able to help you automate a lot of that process and maximize your potential through giving you clarity, consistency, and sustainability with your business. So that's typically what I do. And I utilize the skills that I have to help other people design their own high ticket programs. So firstly, is this possible in this current climate? Well, I'm going to say absolutely. But there are some things that I will say that are will either hold you back or help you move forward in the high ticket space. And if you think about, like, particularly in this coaching consulting arena, how many people are selling high ticket programs, like the likes of Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, Jen Graciaso, just to name a few, Frank Kern, all of those guys do have high ticket programs. And I want to walk through sort of how you put together something that is high ticket. What sort of, thought process do you need to have? What are the core things that you should put into your high ticket program, and kind of just how you can go about doing it? I'm going to give you a bit of an insight into, I suppose, a case study of a high ticket program that I put together. It was a couple of years ago, but it was a little bit different to the norm. And I'm going to share exactly how I did it so that you can take some of the things that I did and potentially apply them to a high ticket program that you can create for yourself. So the first thing I want to cover is this, because this is something that really does hold, can either propel you forward or it can really hold you back. And the first thing is about your mindset, right? So a lot of people, when, they don't think that they're able to create something that is high ticket, they feel that, excuse me, particularly in this current climate, that people can't afford anything over $1,000. So they're starting to play and listen into, I suppose, the economic climate, and allow that to dictate to you and your business what it is that you offer to your community. And I want to show you how you can kind of switch that up and change your level of thinking so that you can continue to serve at the highest possible level. And of course, when you're doing this when I'm talking about high ticket, I'm talking about, high value, high result, which sometimes does require you to be more available to your client. And obviously there's, there's a few different ways that you can do this, and I'm going to talk through all of those. But equally, this is also about, when you charge more, you get an opportunity to work with fewer people, which means that you can deliver a much higher level of service than you could if you were trying to be all things to lots and lots of people. So there's a completely different strategy that you would use if you were doing, a lower ticket item, because that play is more around volume. You're trying to look for lots and lots of people and charging them a lower price. In this arena, you're looking for a few people, but you're charging a much higher a price tag, but equally you're giving them a lot more value and a lot higher touch and connection with you when you do this. So here are the things that typically hold people back, and I've already alluded to this. And one is mindset. So it's the mindset of feeling like you're not worth it. So, a lot of people don't feel like, oh, what I've got to offer is not going to be worth the amount of money that I could charge. So that's the first thing that is going to hold you back. This mindset is like threaded through every single thing we do in our business. And if we don't pay attention to that, and we don't look after our mindset, and we continue to work on it every single day, it will inhibit your ability to be able to, grow and expand and be able to charge more for your products and or services. So you want to work on that in a game. You want to work on, little things like I do, which would be, meditation, just, sitting for a moment and thinking about, what will life look like? Not necessarily for me, what will life look like for me, but what will life look like for my clients when I actually help them? What can I do to help my customer have a better lifestyle, a better, better business, a better family situation, so on and so forth. So I'm very much thinking about it from their perspective. And then also another self-limiting belief is that people can't afford to pay it. It was really interesting last night watching the news. And they were talking about property prices, and it dawned on me, it occurred to me that our industry is not too dissimilar to the property market in this current climate. And you would think that property prices would be driving down, and in the main, apart from the Gold Coast, which I saw yesterday, was still holding its own in terms of like property price and growth. But this guy was talking about the fact that high ticket properties, like multi-million dollar properties, are selling like hotcakes. And he has got, people lining up at the door to buy, 12, 13, $25 million, price tag homes here on the Gold Coast. So one of the limiting beliefs we have is that there isn't money around. There is money around. You just need to make sure that you're putting your offer in the traffic flow of those people that have actually got the money. So if you're trying to sell something that is high ticket, but you're putting it in front of poor people, then it's unlikely that they're going to purchase, and that will increase your thoughts around the fact that people can't afford it. There is no money out there. So it is just a matter of finding the right vein where, blood and dollars are flowing, and making sure that you put your offer in front of that audience. And that's where, understanding who your audience is becomes super, super key. So I want to talk now about kind of the things that I've done in the past to overcome these self-limiting beliefs. And like I said, it's painting that picture, understanding what life is going to feel like once you've actually done this. Today, guys, I've got some notes because a while back, I actually did an interview online with some guys that were talking about how to develop high-ticket programs. And I'd completely forgotten that I'd done it. And I pulled out the material that I've got right here, and I'm reviewing some of the things that I spoke about in there, and I'm just referring to my notes. So if you're seeing me looking down today, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you a little bit later how you can actually get your hands on this high ticket program too. A guy by the name of Mark Stern, who's probably could be watching today, was the guy that I actually did the high ticket program online with, and gave all of my secrets away, and they are available for you inside of his program. So those are some of the things that, are going to hold you back. The next is, not really understanding that the skills, the tools, and the resources that you currently have, you've probably already got everything you need to create something that is high ticket. You want to make sure that when you're putting it together, so essentially what I do is I sit down and I think about who is the client that I'm going to be working with. What is it that I want to do? So the example here that I want to give you is about 18 months, 2 years ago, I created this program called the High Ticket Adventure. And what I did is I made it available to just one customer. So there was a lot of scarcity and urgency with the program, the high ticket program that I was creating. And at the time, of course, we were able to travel. That wasn't an issue. And at this particular time, I was going to be traveling to America. And it provided a huge opportunity for this particular person, when I thought about it, that if I took somebody else with me, I could open up a whole lot of opportunity for them, introduce them to a lot of my international contacts, give them exposure that they would never, ever be able to get on their own. So this adventure that I created for them, basically after sitting down and thinking about, well, what was it that I was going to do? So the key here is sometimes there is an opportunity for you to create something high ticket off the back of something that you are already doing and potentially already doing for yourself. So for me, my husband and I were already going to go to America. So that was already, on the cards for us. So what I did was go, well, if I'm going to America, how can I actually create an amazing experience for us, but also for one client that we could take along on that journey with us? I sat down and I put myself in that client's shoes, and I thought about, where would they be at in the journey? What sort of things would they need what sort of things would they want, and what sort of things would they need to be able to come home from that journey with something of value? And in this case, I took this person away and we spent I think it was 9 weeks on the road, actually building out her entire business. So her entire business model, which gave her clarity about what it was that she was going to do. It gave her, that whole blueprint and access to me on a daily basis. Why? Because she was living and traveling with us at the same time. So it meant that the experience that she got was not only to experience traveling all around America, but she actually got to do that with me by her side, and we could talk business at any given moment. So every experience we were doing, we were relating that back to her business and how to actually implement our various different things into the new model that she was creating. Needless to say that the business that we created for her was a high ticket program. So she created a high ticket program for people in the music industry. And she previously was I would call her a consultant, an artist manager, but she was actually able to then think about, well, how does she reach a much wider audience that then enables those people to have an experience with her that then would progress them or grow them up into her agency. So that's really what we were doing when we took her away. But with that whole process, me thinking about, well, is it possible for me to even take somebody on a trip with me, sitting down, and I basically did this whole process over one afternoon. It took me about 4 hours. And I always start with, like, who is my customer? Where are they at? What would they need? What do they need? And you can apply this to absolutely any industry you are in, not just to, high ticket online programs, anything that you do. If you are an undertaker, which is a bit random, I know, but I know that somebody is listening today who was in the funeral space, and thinking about, what if I was to work with a client, what are some of the things that I could do that could give them an amazing result, blow their socks off, give them things that they would not normally expect. And I started writing down all of these, like, if it were me, what would I want? And if it were my client, what would they want from me? And I just started brainstorm all of the things that you would want. And if you've been in a high ticket program yourself, you also want to think about what were some of the things that they did that maybe didn't work so well, and what are some of the things that they didn't do that you would have loved to have had inside of that program. If you can do that, you start kind of, building up a list of all the things that would be amazing to have. Then what you do is you then look at each individual component that you are providing to that customer, and you're going to give it a value. So you're going to look at, like, what is the value associated with each component of this? So, for example, when I was creating the high ticket adventure, I think I came up with about 15 to 20 different features and benefits that this customer would get. And I started to assign a value to each of those. And when you start putting the value on it, you soon see how, like, hugely valuable your program could be. So when I did that, the value of the program I put together there was about, if I remember rightly, about $135,000 worth of value, considering they had my time for all, they had me for all of that time. They walked away with all of their website and all of their funnels done. They were able to launch their business. They understood the entire blueprint, and they got to, engage and ask me any question they wanted during that whole 9 weeks, as well as be able to travel, open up all of my networks to this person, so that they then were able to, they had networks all over the world, and gave them an opportunity even to interview some people. So when you do these sorts of things where your client doesn't expect it, it makes your high ticket item really, really valuable. Then what I did was then you start to work your way backwards, because what you're looking at doing is, like, where is my client right now, and what result do I want to give them? And it's more about the result that you're going to provide your customer than it is about the price that you are going to charge. So just remember that you're always trying to think about and deliver on what is the promise you are going to give, what is the result that you want to give that person, and what steps do I need to take to provide them with the result that I have promised. And you start working your way backwards from there. So I knew that when I was doing the high ticket adventure, I wanted that person to walk away with an amazing experience, some really good networks that they could rely on well into the future, and their entire business built for them by the time they got back home. So if I knew that those were the 3 outcomes that I was looking for, then I started working my way backwards as far as, like, what are the things that I need to put inside of my offer to make this really, really desirable. Doing this, guys, when I did that whole process, I sold that program, and it was like about $30,000, and I sold it in 5 minutes. It went with the first person that I offered it to. So if you follow this process, and I know, I'm not going super deep into this today. Obviously, I can help people with this through my consultancy, but today is really to give you a bit of an overview, and just to get you in the mindset that it is still absolutely possible for you to offer high ticket programs in the current climate. And in fact, it's more, it is more important for us to do it now, because we've got a lot of people out there wanting to grow their business, wanting to do something different, because they realize that, the current 9 to 5 situation is not is not sustainable, and for a lot of people, and I think I saw some statistics yesterday about the hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be out of jobs. So this sort of stuff that we can do that gets people, close to us, that enables us to do, high touch with high value, to give them some quick wins and allow them to make money fast, is really, really desirable in this current climate. And people do have money and they are prepared to pay for it. I guarantee it. I had someone ring me yesterday, and I gave her the price and she was like, cool. Now, if you have any pushback from any clients that are saying, oh, I can't afford that at the moment, let's talk about some other strategies and ways in which you can add, you can add more skin into the game, let's call it that, to enable you to get a client across the line. And of course, you need to add some level of discernment and determine whether or not you want to work with these people in the ways that I'm going to share with you now. But if somebody can't afford like your upfront price, there are a couple of other ways that you can ensure that you can continue to work with clients. You can offer your high ticket programs, give them an amazing result by doing things like this. So you could partner with the client. So you could actually, set up a partnership where you're promoting their business, you're doing your piece, but then you actually own a revenue share in that particular business. You could also do things like incorporate, retainer fees, so get them to pay you a retainer up front, and then based on the result that you get, you could also get a percentage of the profits, and then also performance incentives. So there's lots of different ways. You've just got to be a little bit creative about the way in which you put your offer together and allow the customer to pay you the fee that you are asking for. But the first and foremost is about you being confident that you are able to deliver the result that the client is looking for, that you can deliver on your promise, you can get them a great result and you can do it within the time frame that you say you can do it in, and just be confident in your own ability. I'm just going to refer to some of the traffic and closing strategies that I've used. So a lot of the ways that obviously clients can come and work with me, and you can use these same strategies and tactics. I have a process where I call it a discovery call. So when somebody wants to work with me, they would book in and do it, what we call a free discovery call. And I've spoken about this a little bit. I gave you guys the full details of it it was like a 10 to 15 minute strategy as to how you turn, an interested customer into a paying customer. And I will remember which episode that was in, and I'll put it into the comments section after the show so that you guys can go back and refer to it. But that process of using a discovery call to determine whether or not somebody is the right fit for you is a fantastic way to lead them in to a high ticket program. And like I said, if you also want to go and have a look at some of the high ticket programs that we have here at Metadime, if you head on over to our Metadime digital channel, so digital website, so metadimedigitalco.com, go and have a look there. Go to the section where it says work with you, and you'll actually see we've put together some programs that help people to create their own shows. And we've got everything from like the do it yourself through the done with you, through to the completely done for you, apart from this, the part where you actually have to get on and speak. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can combine that level of delivery into your high ticket. I think the best way to do any type of high ticket, so I just talked about the done for you, which typically is, a lower priced something. It's something that's probably pre-recorded and they go through the process themselves. Then there's a done with you where you're getting them to do the vast majority of it, but you're helping them along. So a lot of consultants would do this. And then there's a complete done for you, which is like the agency model. For high ticket, I've typically combined all of those together. So my high ticket would combine coaching, consulting, plus agency, all three of those combined, which then gives you the opportunity to create something really, really valuable that is a high ticket like service. So it would be helping the client, get over whatever obstacles and self-limiting beliefs they have as far as like coaching is concerned. Then the consulting would be giving them some strategy and some tactics. And then the done for you might be some, some of your, you actually doing some of the services for them. So by combining all of those together, you can get a really solid high ticket program that is super desirable for people, because that you're then touching on all three of those components. So anyway, we're almost at, our 30-minute knockoff time. So I'm going to wrap us up and just let you guys know that there absolutely is an opportunity for you to do high ticket sales right now. Now is the time to do it. It's just a matter of sitting down and really thinking about it. I did say that I was going to tell you where to find this. There's this book called the Clickpreneur, and it's by Mark Stern. So if you go and find Mark Stern, I will actually get him on one of our shows in the very near future. But that was the program that I did with him a little while ago. And you can find it by going to www.lyve.online. You'll find that there is a whole like online program where a bunch of entrepreneurs are talking about high ticket items, and it talks you through all of the components, how to do it, what to do, how you put it together, who the key players are, what the delivery types are, and they talk about some of the obstacles that they've faced and how you overcome them. So I'd highly recommend, if you are thinking about doing something high ticket, to go and check that out. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. It is the weekend for me, and I'm going to spend some time with my husband. We've got no kids at home now, so God, who knows what we're going to get up to. Probably get out and about, and hopefully there'll be a bit of sunshine. So I'll see you guys back here next week. I have got another special guest with me on Wednesday, and we'll be sharing. I'm pretty sure next Wednesday is all about video, so you will want to join us. I think I've got Joel Garman on with me, who is an expert when it comes to YouTube and how you grow your business using YouTube and video. So please make sure that you join us back next Wednesday for that show. And like always a pleasure to have you guys here. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you again next week. See you guys.